need to try less being like somebody you're not and start to humble yourself and be somebody that God made you to be. He didn't make a man to be a woman. He made the man to be a man. He didn't make the woman to be a man. He made the woman to be a woman. And this is the truth. What are you going to do? Come attack me now? I should. Hey, man, that's up to you. If you want to pull that on me, well, God bless you. So you just threatened me with a gun. You just pulled a gun on my face. Man, Lord have mercy on you. This means that you don't even know who you are. Nope, I still love you. Even though you pulled a gun on me, I still love you. I still bless you.
Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again on X at @green_Jericho on Instagram. It is at JG Talk to. Make sure you like and subscribe and get yourself some damn merch. So, you saw that crazy Ku Klux trans member stick a gun in the face of that street preacher in San Fran shithole, aka Needles and Shit, California. So, as you see the little ticker across there, something needs to be done about these crazy fuckers. Now, fortunately, if my firearms training is correct, it looks like that gun was probably a BB or a pellet gun, because you can see how the barrel's kind of thick. So here's the reason I think this. Let me see if I can pull up an image of this. But the reason that I think this is because the barrel looked a little bit square and it looked to be a revolver. And if you have a barrel like that on your revolver, it either says to me that there's some aftermarket parts on it, or you're a gun enthusiast and you got like, if you don't know guns, you're not going to buy a revolver that looks like that. If that makes sense. I don't even know if I'm articulating this properly, but it looked to be, and the weight of it too, it just looked to be a pellet gun or a BB gun. Thankfully, because had it accidentally gone off, then that dude would have had his face blown completely off of the front of his skull, because that was a big gun. So let me see if I can get a still pic of it on here. But actually, I think I can. But that shit is terrible. And like I said, had it been a real gun and had it accidentally gone off, then yeah, it would have been a wrap. It would have been just fucking horrific and terrible and bloody and violent. So thankfully that didn't happen. But let me see. I think I found a still pic of it. See, is this it? Let me see. Yeah, see? All right, here it is. So you can see that's clearly a revolver, and you can see kind of the square look of it. The finger looks like it's on the trigger. But like I said, the way that he was wielding it, it just looked light. So hopefully it was. And if you look at the bottom right about here, it looks like that thing at the bottom when you have a pellet gun, where you put the CO2 in there and you screw it down and the CO2 gets punctured so you can shoot the gun. So it looks like that's what it was, that it was a pellet gun. But that's neither here nor there, really, because it happened so quickly. What's the guy supposed to look like? Oh, that's a pellet gun. I'm not going to be scared. No, as far as he knew, that was a fucking revolver in his face. Maybe he saw down the barrel and saw that it was a little tiny pellet gun. I don't know. But either way, you can't be sticking a fucking gun in somebody's face because they're saying something that you don't like. That's the basis, the foundation of America. You are free to say whatever you want without fear of persecution. And there is no more persecution than putting a gun in somebody's face, because this crazy bastard, this crazy Ku Klux trans member, has been told here, there, and everywhere, at every turn, on every level, that your psychosis is normal and we are the problem. The greater society is a problem because we're not on your wavelength, man. We don't understand your brain, dude. And we don't get it, man. It's our fault, man. You're totally fine. You're not crazy. You're not nuttier than squirrel shit. You're not crazy as fuck. Don't worry about it. We need to get down on your level, and we need to get down on one knee on your level, little toddler. They've been told that over and over again. They've been told that they're normal. They've been told that the way that they look is normal. Their behavior is normal. They've seen stories over and over and over again. And who knows, this crazy bastard maybe experienced themselves. But you've seen repeatedly where people do crazy shit like this who are Ku Klux trans members and they get released. They spend the night in jail, if that. So what? If I stick a gun in this dude's face, nothing's going to happen to me. And I couldn't see where this piece of shit has been arrested. I hope he does get arrested. I hope he does. And I hope somebody who's empathetic or maybe knows this guy or maybe somebody this guy has helped is in said jail with you and, well, you know. But what an arrogant psycho piece of shit that dude is. For you to think that you can do that because he's saying something that you don't like. How about this? Here's a novel idea, you silly bitch. How about you debate him? How about you ask him some questions and try to poke holes in his theory instead of trying to poke a hole in his forehead with that gun? And he says, what, you going to assault me? You're going to shoot me now? And he sticks a gun in his face and says, I should. So you think this dude should be killed because he's saying some shit that you don't agree with? Well, that sounds crazy. That sounds insane. That sounds like the left. It sounds like you created this piece of shit. You put the battery in its back. There are people who are mentally unstable who are going to hear this kind of rhetoric and act on it because there's no fear of consequence. That's San Francisco. The police probably couldn't do anything to this guy unless he shot him. For all I know, there could have been a cop right there who saw that shit. And the police there are so handcuffed, no pun intended, they're so hamstrung and unsupported that they probably couldn't do anything. Would you honestly be surprised if there was a police officer there, saw that and said, it's just a pellet gun. There's nothing we can do. I told you guys, we took, my wife and I took my daughter on her 6th birthday. So this is 7 years ago. She wanted to go to San Francisco for the day for her 6th birthday. So we went to Union Square. We did some shopping. We went on top of, I think it was the Macy's building, and there's a cheesecake factory there, had some chocolate cake, beautiful pictures. But I remember being in Union Square, and I remember seeing a police car parked there. And it was, this is New Year's, we went New Year's Day, I think. Because my daughter's birthday is in early January. So we went New Year's Day. That's right. New Year's Day, 2018, just before, a few months before I even started on YouTube. So anyway, we take her there, and there's a police car parked there, and this is Union Square. This is Burberry, Louis Vuitton. There's a huge Nike store there. All this high-end shopping. This is the ritzy, fancy part of San Francisco, homeless people. But there's a huge Christmas tree that they have in Union Square every year. This cop car was parked by the curb where the Christmas tree was. And this car, I'd never seen a cop car. That cop car looked like the Blues Brothers cop car halfway through the movie. It was dented. It was dirty. There were no rims on it. It just looked fucked up. It looked like somebody bought it from an auction, except they forgot to take the rollers off of the top. I'm like, that's indicative of the city. That's representative of the condition of the city if the cop cars are all beat up and ugly and fucked up. So that's San Fran shithole for you. But for this crazy son of a bitch to stick a gun in somebody's face, nobody said anything. But again, they think this is a gun-wielding psychopath. So, you can't exactly expect people to jump out and be a hero. Look at this shit. This is all because of what he was saying. And the reason that this thing got upset is because what he was saying was striking a chord. You're not supposed to do that. And imagine this fool's backstory. Can you imagine the kaleidoscope of nightmares that this crazy son of a bitch lived through? I'm sure it was horrible. I'm sure it was fraught with abuse and abandonment and cigarette burns. I'm sure it was completely terrible. But we all got a sob story. We all have a background, and that doesn't make this right. There are no words that could have possibly come out of that dude's mouth to make it okay for you to stick a gun in his face. Now, if he pointed a gun at you, a knife, approached you aggressively, was going to harm you, you feared for your life, go right ahead. Go right ahead. But because he's saying something, he's saying what we've known to be true up until the last 20 minutes of humanity, and you don't like it, you can't do bullshit like that, even if it's a pellet gun. So what? And what if that preacher knew a little something, something? What if he blocked that gun and proceeded to beat the shit out of you? Proceeded to put you in a blue parking spot for the rest of your life? Then he probably would have got arrested and charged with a hate crime. Man, stop. Meet me in the comments. What do you think? What do you think of this psychosis that's going unchecked? Do you agree with me? Do you agree that this is part of the left's fault, the machine's fault? You've been gassing these psychos up for 10 years. Of course they're going to do some shit like this. Or do you see it the total opposite way? Or do you see it from an angle that I don't even know about? I believe that life is a show, and we all have different seats, different perspectives. So meet me in the comments. Talk to me, Goose. Do you know how we end these videos? I like to do a little segment called Good Gun. That's where I highlight a video that shows an American citizen flexing their Second Amendment muscle, giving these bad guys exactly what they deserve. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left. They just won't let me. No.
Home where it happened, you can see the 2 bullet holes where Paul Morgan fired, and he said he did it to protect himself and his wife.
I figured somebody would come in and try to kill me or something, me and my wife, and I just had to do what I had to do.
71-year-old Paul Morgan talking about that terrifying encounter early this morning when he says a man was trying to break into his Wilson home.
They had pulled that door open, that door was locked, and when they got the door open, they started kicking that door there, kicking that wood door there, and kept kicking.
Morgan says when he heard that kicking, his wife called 911 and he grabbed his gun.
And I got my gun and went to the door there, and I got right there to the hall, and I told them, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, and they kept right on kicking.
That's when Morgan says he fired 2 shots and the kicking stopped. He and